feel like my hands are in front. And what I want you to do is hit some little shots like that, and you'll get the opposite feeling of this casting that you get like. Doyle has proved to be a great player. He hits a lot of solid shots, and he hits the ball. He's successful, and the impact condition is what it's all about, and that's what he has, and that's a key to a great golf swing. Now another player, Raymond Floyd. If you look at Raymond, you take a look at Raymond. Now Raymond's had a chance to work with Raymond, and he's got short arms and very long legs. And so usually when you see a player like that, we know that the tendency is that the club works back to the inside. That's just his tendency. And from here though, Raymond works the club from inside and then works his arms up, and then he works it back down in the slot. So if you're a player that is inside a lot, chances are you'll stay flat. And then all of a sudden from here, you don't have any room to come down on the right position, and you'll come over. What you can learn from Raymond is even though Raymond goes in here and turns fairly early, his arms go up into a good position to where he can feel from here. He's as good as anybody from here into impact. And a good drill for him, or a good drill for you, as it relates to Raymond, is that if you go inside and you go up, that's better than if you go up and then back under. That's better than going flat the whole way, or it's better than going in, up, and then over the top. You don't see that with Raymond. Raymond goes in, goes up, and works it right back down in the slot. And from there, he hits beautiful shots and hits beautiful draws. That's his best golf shot. And frankly, I've had a chance to work with him on more of a conventional takeaway, and my gosh, it destroyed the entire golf swing. We were kind of having fun with it, knowing that, hey, your club's always going to go in, up, and back under. But just for the heck of it, I said, let's get conventional here. He didn't have enough turn, his timing was gone, and you'd almost have to change about 8 things to make it right. It wasn't worth it, but we continued to work on his move. And that's the key, and that's the key for you. It's not taking 25 different tips and applying it to one golf swing. It's just getting something that works for you, and that's the key to great players. You know what we learned in this show is that the impact conditions of all those great players we just talked about were very similar. And if you're a player that gets cluttered and you start thinking about backswing, or you start thinking about down, or you lose the focus of where your impact should be. If you look at those great players, they all look like this at impact. Their hips are turned open, their weight is to the left, their shoulders are square. And then you see them hit a shot in miniature form without a backswing. I want to see some great extension through the golf ball like this. And most of you don't do that. You look this way and you look real flippy and scoopy. So the drill is to turn open, shoulders square, hands in front, hit a little shot and extend and hit and hold. I don't want you to hit it more than 20 or 30 yards. It'll give you the feeling of impact. Then everything from there goes backwards, and it gives us a purpose. Backswing and downswing, hey, that's fine. But we have to be in a good impact condition, and that's what I want you to rehearse and practice. It'll be a good drill for you. What we saw from Furyk and Couples is that if you go up, the club must come back down on the inside. And if you're a slicer, chances are you don't have any type of motion like this. And this drill is very simple. Without hitting balls, you put the shaft in the ground to where you feel like you can't hit it. If you extend your right hand out, you can see the club head's away from the shaft. Notice it's at the back of the right heel. Now what I'm going to do is put my left hand on my right shoulder, and then I'm going to push the club back, and I'm going to go back on this side of the white shaft. I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to route the club back down on the inside. And this is just a little rehearsal to feel the opposite of what you feel. You go in and you go over, and this drill is going to make a huge difference in performing the right patterns to getting out of that slice. You know, I think the lesson learned is that the great players have common fundamentals, but there are a lot of ways to skin the cat. And I think what you're going to find is with these 4 players, they all achieve consistency and accuracy a different way. And I think what really opens up my mind is we see, for example, Jim Furyk. You'll see his backswing is very, very much more upright. You see him reroute the club down, and we'll freeze him right at impact here. And then we move to Alan Doyle, set up very left of his target with his feet. You see him almost drag the club back with almost a snap the whip, very short action with a big lateral move to the left. We freeze him at impact, and what do we see? We see something similar to Furyk. We go over to Freddie Couples. Freddie lifts the club back, then he turns, and then his club is coming down perfectly on the inside. We freeze him at impact. What do we see? If you look at the other two pictures, you're going to see something very similar. Raymond Floyd, totally the opposite. Works the club inside immediately, lifts his arms abruptly up, doesn't work over the top like most of you out there, works the club down on the inside. We freeze him at impact. What do we see? We see spine and head back slightly at impact. We see the hips are square or rotated open and the shoulders are square. We also see the hand position. You haven't seen the club head flip by the hands. Solid impact. And if you took them beyond impact, you'd see something similar as well. Great extension into a tremendous finish. You know, depending on your body type, maybe you're not that far off after all. Maybe you've been so focused on the A to Z book that you're now making about 12 changes to your golf swing when maybe you just needed to make one or two. I think that's what you need to find out. You need to find out about the fact that your swing style is its own model, it's its own signature. And yet I believe, and I'm a very strong fundamentalist, and I think yet to understand the fundamentals, we have to understand that there's variety. It's been in front of us for the last 100 years of playing the game of golf. Yes, we see model-like swings. You look at Tiger, you look at golf swings that are effective and efficient, but maybe you don't have a body that is capable of making that big shoulder turn. And you don't have that flexibility to keep your hips very, very quiet on the backswing. And maybe you need to turn your hips more. Get with somebody really good that can help you to understand your swing more. And I think you're going to find out that maybe you weren't so far away from it after all.